Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charmaine White, and as you can hopefully tell from the title of the video, today I'm coming at you with a long-awaited and much anticipated makeup tutorial. This video also doubles up because a few people want to know if I had any recommendations for makeup on the cheap, and that is 99% of my face. If for any reason you do want to look like me, maybe to commit a crime or something, please do follow along and tag me in your results on Instagram at Charmaine White. The face I'm doing today is a bog standard Charmaine face. It's the one I do all the time. It rarely changes. I can do it in about 30-35 minutes in a rush. Drag race, you're listening. And hopefully you'll pick up some tips and tricks along the way as well. With that being said, I in no way purport to be a makeup artist, so anything that you replicate from this video is done so at your own risk. This face has worked for me for several years. It's seen me through countless jobs.
Countless jobs.
So I don't need you to rush to the comments and start saying, you should do this, or you're doing this wrong. Because we're all just here for a good time, really, aren't we? People often say that opinions are like ourselves. Everybody has one, but I disagree with that because I don't like opinions. So without any further fannying around, I'm going to show you how I go from certified pig into this, certified wig.
Wig, did you just say wig? Yes.
Now, normally my first step would be to glue my brows down, but I succumbed to laziness last week and shaved them off again. So a really good tutorial for that I highly recommend is Nova's one over on Novimpia's channel. I'll try to remember to link it down below. I tried for ages with several different products and techniques and tools, and I could never do it. And then Nova brought this out years ago, and I did it first time perfectly, smooth, no texture, nothing, so it's highly recommended. But assuming you have glued your brows down and you've got no brows, let's start with foundation. Now the foundation I use is super cheap. It's a liquid foundation and it retails for about £10. You can buy it anywhere, Tesco, Asda, Boots, Superdrug if you're in the UK, but it's just drugstore foundation if you're elsewhere. It's the Rimmel London Lasting Radiance Foundation. It is in the colour light porcelain, meaning I somewhat resemble a toilet bowl. It's medium coverage, which I don't even know what that means, but any foundation's full coverage if you cake enough of it on. I apply just a few squirts onto the back of my hand, and I use a dirty beauty blender to pummel that onto my skin. This beauty blender was also from Primark, by the way. Cheap and cheerful. Ordinarily, I would take the foundation all the way down my neck, but I'm wearing my breastplate today and that comes up to about here, so I don't need to do that much. So for the next step, we have highlight and contour. People do highlight first and then blend that in and then do the contour and then blend that in. I can't be bothered with any of that. So I just put it all on at the same time and then blend it all together. I used to use either Maybelline or Rimmel sticks or something like that, and they would run at about £10 to £15 until that was Tiffany Blue recommended me these. Now, they are from Primark and they are £2.50 each. You can't say fairer than that. And they work so well, just as good as the expensive stuff I was paying, if not maybe a little bit better. They're a lot creamier, they're a lot more easy to blend, and they smell a ton nicer. The other ones I used to use just stank, and these ones actually smell really good. So for my highlight, I use it in the colour Porcelain, and for my contour, I use in the colour Chai. I then go in with more dirty Primark beauty blenders, one for my highlight, one for my contour. I start off buffing out my highlight, then I go around and buff out my contour, and then I buff out in between the two until it's a blend that I'm happy with. Now it's time to powder everything down. Ordinarily, I would use the Rimmel Stay Matte Pressed Powder, but I was having a little look in Primark the other day, and I came across this loose powder, and I wanted to try loose powder for a while, and I thought it's £2, I might as well just try it. And if I don't get along with loose powder, it's £2. And it's actually really, really good. So now I just cake that onto every inch of my face. There is so much powder flying around, I'll be finishing this tutorial with a shadow on my lung. I'm gonna let this bake for a few minutes and then I'll come back and carry on. Right, I've let that bake while I have a little ciggy, and now I'm just gonna brush off any sort of excess. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush and just put some bronzer over my contour again, just to warm it up a bit. The bronzer that I normally use is the Rimmel London Natural Bronzer in the shade Sun Bronze. But whilst I was picking up that powder in Primark, I decided to pick up a bronzer too, just to try it out and see if it worked. Again, it was super cheap, like a couple of quid. And it's actually really good. It's a lot warmer than my Rimmel one. The Rimmel one can kind of come off a little bit too flat, whereas this one, is flat the right word? I don't know, I'm not a makeup artist.
I don't want to say like I'm a DJ, but I am.
Okay, so next up is eyebrows. I normally use the stick that I'm contouring with and an angled brush, but the contour I'm using at the moment is a little bit too light for my eyebrows. So I've picked this up again in Primark for like a quid. It is a concealer stick in the colour Rich Espresso, but I think it works just as well for eyebrows, so that's what I use it for. A lot of queens tend to like mark out where they're drawing their eyebrows and then join it all together. I don't do that, I wing it and hope for the best. So that's the top of my brow. I try and get that as sharp and precise as possible. I hate it when queens go in with highlight above the eyebrows. I think it looks really obvious and shit. So I try and get the top line as precise as I can. The bottom line, there's some leeway with. What you want to do is you want to start your eyebrow where your natural brow begins, and then you want to raise it higher. So my natural brow starts here, but goes along here. A lot of queens draw everything higher, and it looks really odd and out of shape. So you want to start where your natural eyebrow begins. So for the bottom line, I start again where my natural brow begins, and I will draw up towards where the arch is. I'll follow the arch around, and I don't connect it to the very end. I connect it somewhere like halfway up the tail, just about here, as you're about to see. And that really gives the tail like a sharp line. So that's about my normal eyebrow shape now. And now all I have to do is try and replicate that on the other side as evenly as I can. So that can do me fine, and now I just need to fill them in. And when it gets to the end of my brow, I ombre that out, so I don't fill it in with a block colour, I just kind of feather the ends out so there's something to blend. Okay, so now that's roughly the shape that I want them. Now remember, you want them to look like sisters, not twins. And at the moment, they look a little bit like two strangers who bump past each other in the supermarket. But that's fine, because we're gonna go touch up the bottom. No, that doesn't sound right. That's fine, because we're gonna touch up underneath in a minute and ombre them out, and they'll look stunning. So I just use a beauty blender with a little bit of leftover foundation on it, and I go in and just buff the ends of my eyebrows out. And when I think I'm relatively happy with the ombre, I'll go and pack some powder onto them. And then give it a quick dust off. So now we want to go and highlight underneath the brows, and for that I use this. You can't tell what that is, but it did originally look like this. It's just a Smithy's face paint in Clown White. So just like I did for my brows, I'm going to use an angled brush, a different one obviously, and just really get a crisp, neat line underneath that brow. just like that. And then I just fill in the space where my eyebrow normally would be. Something else I see a lot of queens do is they highlight all the way to the end of the brow, and you don't want to do that. You want the ombre to speak for itself and then the highlight to start where the ombre kind of finishes. And then I just do the same with the other one. Okay, so now I blend the edges of the highlight out and I powder that down. Now I'm going to use the Rimmel transparent pressed powder that I talked about earlier because I want to make a nice neat semicircle on the powder puff and then just press it onto the semicircle underneath my eyebrow. And then again I brush that off with a fluffy brush. Now we come to eyeshadow. For my old stereotypical Charmaine face, I used to do a cut crease because I found that easier to do for some reason than a smoky eye. But I recently learned during the first lockdown, I think it was somebody on TikTok, said that the trick to it is to not use as much black as you think you need. And I felt seen because whenever I've tried to do a smoky eye in the past, I've put so much black on and then there's too much black to smoke out. So that was a really handy tip. And then I tried it and I really got the hang of it. So now that's turned into my basic Charmaine face. I don't have to worry about cutting my crease, doing a wing or anything like that, which is just adds time and I don't often have time. This is the only expensive part of the tutorial. Now I purchased this by looking at it as some sort of investment. It is the Be Perfect Stacey Marie Carnival XL Pro palette. It was recommended to me by my friend Vita, who is a makeup artist, and I've never looked back. It was so good. I think the one that was half the size was £40 on Beauty Bay, or this one was £42 for double the amount, so I obviously got the larger one.
A large? You got money. He got money.
And honestly, it's like life-changing. This isn't sponsored, obviously.
Obviously.
But I don't think I'll ever go back to another palette after using this. So get your black eyeshadow of choice. I'm just taking it on a little fluffy brush. At first, just pack it onto your eyelid. And then very slowly, I'm just going more and more above my eyelid. And you want to create a sort of semicircle situation around your eye. So that is going to be just enough, just fine. And you want to do the same on the other eye. So that will do me about fine for the black. I forgot to say, I don't use an eyeshadow primer. I do have one somewhere, but I just don't use it because I always forget. But I mean, hopefully you can see how pigmented the black is anyway. I don't really need it. Next thing, I'm going to go in with a slightly fluffier brush. The black I used was called Lights Out. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Basic, which is a kind of light brown, and really buff the edges out. One thing I would recommend doing is blending your eyeshadow up so it kind of mingles in with the start of your brow. You don't want that harsh kind of separation, which I see a lot of queens do. You just want to buff it up at the start and then kind of pull it out into the highlight. And when you get something that you're happy with, I go and do the other side too. So I've got it to a point where I'm happy with now. If there are any sort of mistakes, I'll be wearing big lashes, so you won't even see it. Okay, so now it's time to do the bottoms of our eyes. At this point, I'd normally use an eyeliner pencil to do my waterline, but I don't have one at the moment and I haven't been able to get one. So instead, I'm just gonna apply some eyeshadow to my waterline, and I don't know if that's safe to do. I don't know if I should recommend you doing it, but if you've got strong eyes and you're used to makeup, then why not?
A few moments later.
It's on my eyeball, which is why I wouldn't recommend you doing that. And then I just go and pull some eyeshadow underneath the eye as well, just to darken that up. And then I go and do the same with the other eye. Next, I'm going to move on to highlight. Now, I can just about make out that this is Makeup Academy. I think it cost me about £3 from Superdrug, and it is so good. It's the best highlighter I've ever used. It's in the shade Peach Diamond, and it's a really nice pinky colour, and I use it all the fucking time. It's so good. And it lasts ages too. I've had this for years. And I just use a fan brush just to dust a bit onto my cheekbones. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but fuck me, it's good. And then the moment that everyone has been waiting for is my teardrop. When I do find the time to do a cut crease, which is very rarely these days, this is the eyeliner that I also use to do my wings as well. This is also the eyeliner that I use to do the teardrop. It's great, my friend Kat put me onto this. It is the Maybelline New York Lasting Drama Matte Waterproof liquid eyeliner, and it is so good. And it comes with, I don't know if you can see this, like the sharpest point you'll ever see. There's a piece of fluff on the end. But other than that, it comes with the sharpest point you'll ever see. And this is how I do my teardrop. Watch me fuck it up. I've done that a little bit thicker for reasons unknown, but that's about it. It's a little bit messy, but it will do. Okay, so next up is my nose contour. The reason I don't do that with the rest of my contouring is because nothing really sticks to my nose. I could probably just there is some foundation and powder and stuff on at the moment, but if I go like that, it just comes straight off and I don't know why. I've tried primers and things and nothing really works for me, so that's great. So I do that second to last, so I'm not nudging and going across my face and messing it up the entire time. So I'm gonna go in with my highlighter stick from earlier, and I start off with a little kind of triangle shape there. And drag it down like so. A lot of people hate my nose contour, and I'm alright with that, because I'm not changing it. So next up, I make sure these bits of my, what are these called? Little finger. I make sure that my little fingers are clean, and then I will go along and just slowly but surely sharpen it into a point. Okay, so I'm happy with how that's looking at the moment. So before I powder it down, I'm just going to buff out this kind of top triangle so it merges nicely into my highlight at the top there. And then I'll powder it down. And then I go in again, and using the very edge of this stick, I'm going to go in and draw a nice little line across the end of my nose. It just pinches it all in and makes it look a little bit sharper. And then I go along with my finger underneath and just really sharpen that line out. And again, I'm going to go powder that down. Okay, so now I'm going to go with my bronzer and a fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to go along the edge and really cut that highlight out. Something I think is really important to take into account as well is where it merges with your eyeshadow. I think the merge up into your brow bone should be symmetrical. A lot of queens I've seen do one merge up here and one sort of down here, and it looks all lopsided. But I think it's important to get that symmetrical. And then I just blend the edges out down my nose. So there we go. It's a little bit wonky today because normally I'm a lot closer to the mirror, but I don't want to go here and you not be able to see anything. So it's a little bit off, but it's fine. I've got a wonky nose anyway. So my penultimate step is lips. Now, this lip liner I've had for ages. It's by Makeup Gallery, which is sold in Poundland.
Help me, I'm poor.
And I picked one up a couple of years ago just because I was desperate for a cheap one. And it's the best lip liner I've ever used. I buy them all the time. I've never gone back. It works just the same or better for me as some really high-end expensive ones. So now I'm just going to outline my lips. I draw about double my natural lip on top of that because I have paper thin lips. And I keep the bottom lip just round about the same. I just overline it very slightly. Okay, so that's about how I have it. Now before I show you what I use on my lips for my lip colour, can I just first say that I don't support this person in any way. I don't endorse them in any way. Not this. I'm using this purely for the fact that it was gifted to me. I've never actually even bought one, mainly because they're so expensive to me. And so whilst I have it, I'm just using it up. It is, as you probably guessed,
I knew it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name or if that's going to like shadow ban me or something, but it's in the shade Prom Night. So there is a NYX one in an identical colour for half the price. It's in your local drugstores and it's exactly the same as this. I was gifted this one because I was told that it's a lot longer lasting, but I find myself topping this up just the same as I had to with the NYX. So it is in no way better. It's double the price. And so when this is finished, I am going to go back to my old NYX one. The top tip for not getting lipstick on your teeth is to suck your finger and any excess comes off on your finger and not on your teeth. So now it's just time to finish off my eyes with mascara and lashes. So next up is mascara. I don't often buy mascara because it lasts so bloody long, but I picked this up in a bit of a rush and it's actually really good. I don't hate it. It's from Superdrug, but you can get it probably in any drugstores. It's Rimmel London Wonderfully Real mascara with nylon fibres. The only downside I will say with this is that it's a little bit too wet. It takes a minute or so to like dry, but other than that I can't fault it. Now for my final step, it's lashes. Now I've just seen the state of them. Tiffany Blue gifted me these just over a year ago now. And they are What a Drag UK, and I believe they are in the style Femme Tarts. And they're looking a little bit worse for wear, but that's fine. Oh God, they are looking really bad actually. And to glue those on, I use super glue. I use the Duo Lash Glue in black. Now normally when I glue my lashes on, if I've done a cut crease and I've got a big jet black wing, I will often glue the lashes in the very corners of my eyes and I will raise them up a little bit with the wing of my eyeliner. But when I do a little smoky eye like this, it doesn't really look right. You can definitely tell that they've been raised a little bit. So with these, I'm going to glue them straight along my actual lash line. And that is it for my go-to Charmaine face. I'm gonna go slip into something a little less comfortable and I will be right back with you. I am back and that is my makeup tutorial for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you are following along at home, don't forget to pair it with some ratty hair, a massive rack and a horrible stench. I will see you all very soon. Don't forget to keep your eyes peeled because I've got some great content coming your way. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well, and that is where you can make your suggestions for new videos. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay indoors. Stay fabulous, wear your masks, etc. And I will see you all sooner than you might like. Mwah. Bye then!